What is going on, my friends? All right, the first thing we have to talk about is the Luka triple-double, but not the one necessarily for this slate, the one we cashed on the other day at a plus 175 or better. Let me know if you made money on that. Let me know if you tailed it. That is a huge out on the limb play of the day pick, so show me some love for that, and let's find out about more of the plays on Bets Before Bed. All right, real quick before I get into some picks, the first thing I want to mention is the overlay here at the bottom of the screen. If you're taking a look at it, let me see if I can point to it. That was a terrible job. However, I have launched a Patreon. It's $5 a month, chump change, literally the cost of less than a cup of coffee. If you want to support me and get picks before they go live anywhere else, click the link that will be in the pinned comment. It's $5 a month, and we will be doing a stream on it on Saturday morning. Donuts and I will be doing a live stream from the gym, again, talking about MLB strategy. I won't say too much more about it, but click the link below, will be in the pinned comment. And these are the plays that are up in the air. The plays that we're going to get into should all be considered half unit plays. Yes, I am looking at this slate and I kind of find it to be gross, to be honest. It's very early. Not all the games lines are out. I should say that. The Spurs game and the Pelicans is not out yet. Minnesota and Phoenix isn't out. There's no lines on that. Golden State and Dallas doesn't have any official lines out. The Knicks and the Bulls, no lines out. So this is a very early look. However, I have identified a couple of things I like, and the first play is actually going to be an under. Yes, an under for Scoot Henderson, under 31.5 PRA. Scoot's minutes have been all over the place lately. He is, even when he's receiving 30-plus minutes, he's only has a 35% hit rate on this line on the season, and he's averaging 28.3 PRA in those games. Over the last 10 games, when playing 30-plus, he has a 70% hit rate to the under, averaging 27.6 PRA. On the season, so the whole season, a 57-game sample size, he has only hit the over on this line in 9 of 57 games. Washington on the season has been relatively soft to opposing point guards, but over the last 15 games, they are allowing the second fewest assists per game to opposing point guards, and over that same span, they are allowing the 9th fewest points per game to opposing point guards. So even with the minutes, I don't think that gets him to the 31.5 PRA. So I'm taking the under on this. Listen, I wanted to take a look at the PrizePicks board just for a minute and see if there's anything that stands out or anything worth sharing. Just maybe share some insight here. The first two guys that caught my eye, Brandon Miller and Miles Bridges, obviously a tough matchup against Orlando. I think if I had to pick one of these guys to target, it actually would be Brandon Miller on his points. He's been over in 4 of his last 5 games here. He gets a slightly more favorable matchup DVP-wise against Orlando. So I think if I was going to go any route, that's where I would go. Another person that I was interested in, and I wanted to see if he was up here. See, Jordan Poole, I mean, he has decent game logs, but, you know, he had a good run here and looks like he's been under in 3 of his last 5 games. I don't know what happened against Detroit. Lakers were a great matchup. Portland's a less than favorable matchup. I don't think there's anything there I would really touch. Scoot Henderson is a guy I talked about in the video a little bit already. You know, I looked at his points, but I'm just not really interested. I do think that there's slightly, this lean is slightly to the over on the books at maybe a 120 or a 125. You know, Holmgren and Giddey are interesting with Shy out, and I think I would lean Chet here because of the DVP matchup he has. You know, he's just a guy that's too talented to be putting up 2 and 5 points in games. You know, Boston's a tougher matchup. The Knicks are a tougher matchup. But yeah, I just think that this is a line that he could potentially exceed in this game. So I might have some interest in that. I'm going to take a look. Siakam's a guy. I mean, he's been playing pretty well overall. I think his PRA has been a little bit better than his points, but otherwise, you know, the popular board's not out yet here. I don't have a ton of interest in too many other things on here. I talked about the PRA for Scoot. Chet's PRA, he's been under in all 5 games. Only one of those, I think, was without Shy. Just kind of an ugly slate, guys. Just be careful. There's a lot of landmines out there, I'll be honest with you. something I'm interested is Gary Trent Jr. Gary Trent Jr. over 15.5 points. Milwaukee has a bottom five defense in points allowed, and 30 plus minutes are locked in for him. I like Gary Trent to play the full run of minutes. Somebody's got to score to keep this game even relatively competitive. I think Gary Trent can exceed 15.5 points. Milwaukee has nobody on defense to fear, especially not when you're talking about the 1, 2, or 3 position. I think Gary Trent has no problem going over 15.5 points on this line. So, as I said, this is an early look at the slate right now. But one thing I want to keep an eye on is Jimmy Butler, specifically his PRA. Now, Houston is playing tonight. They will potentially have tired legs tomorrow. However, they are a top 3 DVP defense, and Jimmy's rebounds have been sub 5.5 in 66% of the games this season. He's been under in 8 of his last 10 and 10 of his last 15. I think potentially there could be a spot to take the under at either 32 or 33.5 PRA, depending on where this line opens. I'm not exactly sold on it yet. I mean, obviously, these plays are up in the air, but I want to take a look at that, and I might have a little bit of interest in the under. Another guy I'm looking at is De'Aaron Fox over 25.5 points or over 4.5 rebounds. Believe it or not, his rebounds have been up lately, and I think that this is a prime spot for him to potentially see a little extra run, and he's going to have to score to keep this game competitive. I know it's not a great matchup, but I might have some interest in the over, again, for a half unit. Listen, when Luka's on the slate, of course I have a little interest in the triple-double. Now, don't be like one of these jabronis playing the over 9.5 rebounds for Luka or the over 8.5 assists or something like that. That's silly. If you're going to take anything, take it under. I'm not saying to take it under. I'm just saying, like, I could see more logic in that. If you're going to take an over 9.5 rebounds or an over 8.5 or 9.5 assists, why not just take the triple-double then? You know he's going to get 10 points. You know more than likely he's going to get over 10 rebounds. Really, it's just his assists that are the crux for him. And if you're going to ever take an over for assists, just take the triple double. Why would you take an over 8.5 or 9.5 assists for him at a minus 130, minus 125, minus 140 potentially, when you can get plus odds, plus 175, plus 200 on the triple double? Don't be a jabroni, as I said. Listen, don't do that. Just take the triple double. I think Luka always has a chance of this. He just got a triple double against Golden State the other day. Why would I not love it again? I know he's playing tonight. I don't have much of a concern of tired legs. He almost hit the triple double again tonight. I think taking the triple double is a fine option for this slate. And I have one more play. However, I'm going to drop that into Patreon tonight and leave that in there so there's a little mystery, a little bit of an incentive. Check it out. See what you think. Listen, like the video, comment on this video, subscribe to the channel. This is an early look. Got to get to sleep, so I can't stay up super late and wait for more lines to drop. So I will be coming back to this and posting either on Twitter or in the Patreon or in Discord, one of those combinations. Check them out if you want more official picks later on in the day as more news comes out and as these lines drop and everything. But hey, I appreciate you stopping in, and I'll catch you on the next video.